Welcome back to the channel, guys, where we'll be talking everything I know about up-and-coming shark movies for this year, 2026, and next year, 2027. And just before I get into those videos, we'll do like a brief recap of the last few years of shark movies that came out that are worth watching, in my opinion. And if you like this type of video, click on the next one because it's about killer bears, crocs, snakes, spiders, and a hippo. We got some Kraken movies. So if that's right up your alley, this is the channel for you.
Welcome aboard.
So 2023 and 2024, we got a few shark movies that came out that are worth watching. One of them is called Something in the Water. Pretty typical. 5 friends are out in the Caribbean. They're there for a wedding. Turns into a nightmare because their boat sinks in the middle of the ocean, full of sharks. Pretty typical, pretty basic shark movie. And in 2023, we got one of the best shark documentaries, in my opinion. It's like a movie documentary, but it's called Sharksploitation. And it's really about every shark movie that came out after Jaws and why Jaws blew up this category, more like a subgenre. But it's a fantastic watch. I recommend watching that. The next one is called No Way Up. It's essentially about this plane that goes down, crashes in the middle of the ocean, but it finds an air pocket. And these people are stuck in the side of the airplane. These sharks are all around them. And slowly, one by one, the shark gets inside the airplane. And of course, they can't stay inside that long because the oxygen's running low. So they got to figure out what to do. Next one is called The Last Breath. The plot for this one is you got a scuba diver that's down in World War II wrecks. And this might sound familiar, but this is a scuba diver that is running low on oxygen and has to find his way up, but there's sharks all around it. But the next one is one I really enjoy. It's called Under Paris, that came out in Netflix. And yes, there is a sequel coming out for Under Paris. I'm going to get into that in about a few minutes. But this one I really enjoyed. It's on Netflix again. Yes, it was made in Paris, France, so it has like an English dub to it, but it doesn't bother me at all. Great CGI. I love that it's a different location because you don't get many shark movies in Paris, so that was really sweet. And of course, Gladiator 2, that one scene where they're fighting the Coliseum and the sharks come out, that was pretty fucking sick. 2025, you got Fear Below. It's about a team of salvage divers that run into a bull shark. Pretty simple shark movie. Next up, we got Beasts of War. This is like young soldiers fresh off boot camp that end up crashing in the middle of the ocean, and they're on this life raft, and of course they got to survive being surrounded by sharks. We've seen that like USS Indianapolis. Pretty typical plot line. Okay, so the next one's called Into the Deep, and it has Richard Dreyfuss, of course, from Jaws, and they think that was gonna solve this movie. Not really at all. Scout Taylor Compton's in this, from Halloween 1 and 2, the Rob Zombie remake. That doesn't help this at all. It's really about this one chick confronting her past, and while she's doing it, she runs into these bad guys. And the bad guys make them go in the water, blah, blah, blah. We've seen this plot many times. It's kind of like that one movie with Paul Walker, Jessica Alba, Into the Blue. Pretty similar to that. Next one is like one of my favorite ones I've watched in the last 10 years, and that's Dangerous Animals. I really love the way this movie was made. Like the cinematographer was pretty sweet. That one camera angle when you get the introduction to the main villain and the camera's stuck to the back of the truck. Absolutely love that. But it's very original because you have a serial killer that uses the sharks to get rid of the evidence, so to speak. But with this movie, you have different sharks. It's not just one type of shark. And of course, at the very end, you get that great white shark, and it looks awesome. And you got great cast, great acting, love the location. Overall, I think it's one of the best shark movies in the last 10 years. We got another Jaws documentary. This one, if you go on Disney Plus, you'll find it there, but it's Jaws at 50. It essentially is like the third or fourth documentary about the making of Jaws. And this is pretty solid. It's up there. I really enjoyed it. I've seen them maybe 3 or 4 times. All right, let's get into 2026 about the movies that already came out this year that you can go watch right now if you want to. So on April 10th, of course, we got another Netflix shark movie that's called Thrash. It was originally called Shiver, and I'll get into that in a minute because there is another shark movie coming out 2027 called Shiver with Keanu Reeves, and I'll get into that in a minute. So this was originally called Shiver, but of course they changed its name, most likely because of that, and now it's called Thrash. And essentially it's like the movie Crawl, with the crocodiles and the hurricane. The hurricane pretty much destroys the town. Full of crocs, you gotta survive. Same exact concept for this movie, but with sharks. I don't mind it at all. I think I've seen it 3 times so far, but it's just a nice shark movie where people are trapped, they gotta find their way out, and there's a lot of deaths. Pretty badass, so I don't mind it at all. The ending was kind of quick though, but maybe we'll get a sequel, maybe we won't. On May 1st, we had a Deep Water. In that movie, I mentioned a movie before, No Way Up. Plane crashes in the middle of the ocean, they gotta find their way out of the plane. But in this case, the plane crashes, splits in half, but most of it's on top of the water, so they don't really have to worry about the air pocket. There's a couple scenes in this movie that does deal with that, but the plane doesn't crash in the ocean until like halfway through the movie. So if you're looking for a lot of shark action in this movie, you're not going to get that much. But Overall, not bad of a movie. June 5th. I did not watch this movie. I don't think I will. Maybe someday. Okay, so the next one came out June 5th. It's called Chum. Remember that movie I talked about, Dangerous Animals, about a serial killer using the sharks to get rid of the bodies? Same exact concept for this movie. I think this is a ripoff from Dangerous Animals because it's essentially the same thing. You got this group of newlyweds. They're on a yacht. They run into a serial killer and use the sharks to get rid of the bodies and to kill them. Same concept, but everything I heard about this movie, but I'll give it a go someday when it's on the streaming that I'm already paid for, so I'm not paying extra to watch it. July 17th, we had this movie called The Bay, and it takes place in Thailand as two best friends, and they're trapped in a sinking boat in the middle of this tiger shark sanctuary. Little different. You don't get many tiger shark movies, at least as the killer out there. A lot of time it's the great white, bull shark, but when it comes to tiger sharks, very rare do we get those type of movies. And the latest one that just came out on July 29th, that's on Amazon Prime, is In Devil's Mouth. Not bad. And I actually like this movie. I think I've seen it twice already. And I love the cinematography. It's really sharp, really great. And it's in Thailand again. Thailand, I guess, is beautiful. I had never been there. Someday I might now. But it's kind of like 47 meters down too, where they're in a cave. But in this case, they're not really scuba diving. They're on top of the water inside a cave. So they're swimming. They're not like down with the oxygen, none of that shit. And of course, a bull shark gets in there and kills them one by one. Well, I really like the lead on this. She's awesome. I think it's Catherine Noon. She was on Abigail and recently Radio Not 2. She's the new sister of that movie. So I like this chick. She's not bad at all. And the shark, you know, you don't see much of it at first. You slowly work your way into it. Of course, it's CGI. CGI is not that bad, but overall, pretty good movie. All right, so now we're going to get into the new shark movies that will be coming out later this year and 2027. So the first one I want to talk about is 47 Meters Down, The Wreck, which is going to be the third installment of the franchise. The first one, I really enjoyed the first one. They like built on that tension. The CGI was really great. Second one, not as great as the first one, but still worth watching. I think I've seen it 3 or 4 times. And those two came out 2017 and 2019. So this one has a little bit of delay to it just because the sequel didn't make that much money. But the director for this is Patrick Lussier. You might know him because he was the editor of Scream 1, 2, and 3. But he also directed the remake of My Bloody Valentine, the 3D. That was not bad. He also directed Dracula 2000. I actually liked that movie. And he also directed Drive Angry. So not bad. Actors in this movie. We got Ron Livingston. He was on, of course, The Office Space, The Conjuring, and The Flash, the recent Flash movie. So the writer for this is Johan Roberts. He directed the original and the sequel, 47 Meters Down, but he also directed the recent Primate movie. That was fucking awesome. Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City. The Strangers, Pray at Night, the sequel before all these chapter remakes. Because of course we just had The Strangers Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and Chapter 3. But this was Pray at Night, which I think is the best of all those 5 movies. So we got a decent director, we got decent actors, and a good writer. So that's a good start. But essentially about this movie is you got father and daughter that will be scuba diving to explore a shipwreck. Oh, sounds familiar. And during that, there's some kind of accident where they get trapped. So now they're running low on oxygen. Sounds familiar, right? And of course, they need to figure out how to escape. But there's sharks all around them. Sounds familiar, right? Okay, so the plot itself, not that original, but with 47 Meters Down, at least the first 2 movies, I feel like they have an idea of how to make a decent shark movie. So I'm excited for this. So the next one is this Netflix miniseries that'll be 6 episodes called Below. So right now we don't know if it's a shark movie, some kind of mysterious creature that we don't know that's like supernatural, or a giant squid. To be honest, I think it's a giant squid. So yeah, this, I know we're talking about sharks, but this could be a shark movie, but I'm gonna make a whole video about why I think this is a giant squid, mainly because this takes place in Newfoundland, up in Canada. This movie was shot there and it takes place there because I think the creator, Jesse McNown, he's from Newfoundland. And if you know anything about giant squids, that's like the hot spot for giant squids. So I think this might have something to do with it. Plus, if you watch the trailer, they show right off the bat within like 10 seconds, if you look right here, there's a little Easter egg of a squid. So I think this is a giant squid movie, but very possibly could be a shark movie. But so far, we only got 1 trailer and this comes out October 8th. But I'm really excited because the casting is really good. You know, you got Josh Hartnett. He plays the father. So the plot of the story is you have a single father and his kids, they just don't have the great relationship. He's trying to build his family back. And where this takes place at is like this remote fishing village where everybody knows everyone's business type deal. So this main character, Josh Hartnett, his character's father died decades ago. very mysteriously how he died. No one knows how, and that kind of haunts him. So he's trying to figure out, so like the last 20-30 years, he doesn't know how his father died, and that just haunts him. And I think whoever killed his father is back. So he's like that one character where like he lives in his hometown, but nobody takes him serious. Everyone thinks he's a wackadoo. I think that's where we're going to get this character. If you watch Stranger Things, then you know Charlie. Of course, he's one of the main guys from Stranger Things.
So, how was the pullout?
I'm sorry?
The sofa.
And he was on that one X-Men movie, The New Mutants, that really didn't make that much money. But I kind of liked it. It had a nice horror element to it. But of course, we know him from Stranger Things. Rowan Campbell, baby. I love Halloween Ends. Yes, that's a hot take. Halloween Ends. People are like, fuck Halloween Ends. I enjoyed it. I loved it. And I hope someday you guys will come around to really give it respect. But that's where we mainly know him. But of course, recently he was in Silent Night, Deadly Night, that remake. Actually got a lot of praise for that. Not too bad. But he's going to be in this. And if you guys remember that one sci-fi movie, Species, where that naked chick, you know, she's in the pool with this guy. She turns into a monster. That chick, Natasha. Yeah, she's going to be in this. Mackenzie Davis. I love Mackenzie Davis. She was in that Terminator Dark Fate. The Martian, you know, with Matt Damon stuck on Mars, gotta find his way home. Blade Runner 2049. Those are like the three I really know her about, but I really enjoyed her as an actress. So I'm glad she's in this. So this is starting to seem like a very good cast. Very excited for this. And of course, it'll be coming out October 8th. So we got a little bit longer, but just in time for Halloween season. And all 6 episodes are gonna be dropping at the same exact time. And it's funny, there's 3 directors for this, because usually when you have a TV series like this, you have multiple directors. One of them is Helen Shaver. The name doesn't sound familiar, but if you watch Tremors 2, when she does that famous pose, you know? Yeah, her. She's directing one of these episodes, maybe 2 episodes, but I thought that was really nice knowing that.
Ooh. This October, 1974.
Yeah, she's there to remind me not to keep chasing after things I'm never gonna get.
So really, the last thing I want to talk about of this is if you watch that Peter Benchley TV show, The Beast, that came out in 1996. I absolutely love that TV movie. I don't know if it's a miniseries. I think it's 2 parts, very similar to what this sounds like. And again, I think this has a giant squid, but it could be a shark. I don't know, but we'll find out here soon. Next, Under Pairs 2. So the first one came out 2024 on Netflix, and I think it was really awesome. I think it's one of the best shark movies we got in the last 10 years. Solid CGI. It's about a mako shark that we still don't know why this shark grew so fast. So that's part of like the mystery of this movie that we really never got an answer to. But like, it's very original in a lot of ways. Yeah, they talk about like Jaws with the mayor not wanting to shut it down, but she had good reasons, because the Olympics are coming to Paris, so it's not that easy just to shut it down. You got this one death where this one chick gets killed like in Deep Blue Sea, so there's a lot of nods to the good shark movies out there that came before this. But the location, Paris, France, you don't see that often. Cinematography was really sharp. I love a lot of the camera angles, especially when they're like cruising along in the Seine rivers. So the location of this movie, really enjoy it, because you don't really get shark movies in Paris, France at all. A lot of times it's out in the ocean type deal. And of course, the ending of the original movie ends with Paris flooding. The river gets blown up and there's sharks everywhere. So like, hell yeah, sequel, let's go. And right now, as I speak, it's in production. And this will be coming out most likely early 2027 or mid 2027. But with it being in production, I'm sure they got a lot of post-production CGI stuff to work on. But that'll be coming out next year on Netflix. Super excited. And the director for this, Alexander AJ, he's not the original Under Paris director, but he directed Crawl, came out 2019. That was badass. The Hills of Eyes remake, 2026, badass. The Piranha 3D remake, pretty solid. I don't mind at all. That came out 2010. That one serial killer movie, High Tension, that came out 2003, about that one chick and it's French. Pretty solid. I'll never forget watching that for the first time. Love it. But most recently, he did that Halle Berry movie, Never Let Go, that came out 2024. So we got a good director for this. And of course, we got 2 of the main characters coming back from the original movie, with the main chick, that's the marine scientist, and we got the river police commander. Pretty sure they're gonna be boyfriend, girlfriend. If they weren't attacked by sharks, they would be already having a baby by now. But they're coming back, and they're trying to go after the original predator, Lilith. She's the original shark. She's the mama to all these baby sharks, and they're going after her. Don't know why. Don't know how that's gonna kill the other sharks. It's not like it's a vampire where you kill the original vampire and the rest all die. It's not like that. but sounds like that's what they're doing. So I'm very excited for that. Next one is called Alphas. So the director for this, Liam O'Donnell, he really does B movie stuff. So this is going to be his first big movie. But what's great about this is you got a great white shark that threatens a quiet seaside town and a former local surfing legend. And he teams up with a retired orca trainer. And they're like, look, what is the great white shark's main predator, so to speak? And that's an orca. That's a killer whale. Because orcas, kill great white sharks. They eat the livers because it's full of nutrients. And really, those are the only things that kill great white sharks. So like, hey, look, why not get an orca, train it to kill this great white shark, and we'll solve all the problems. That's a great original idea. I'm excited for this. And you got some decent actors in this. You got Mark Henderson, which was on the Ty West movie X. That was fucking awesome. The Ring, Strangers, Pray at Night. He was the dad. And Charlotte Vega. So really the only thing I know about her was that remake of The Wrong Turn 2021. I don't even know if I would call it a remake because it was totally not a remake of the original movie, but they call it The Wrong Turn, so it has to be a remake. Right now it's in post-production, so they already filmed everything they need to film. But I've been hearing about this for a while, so I'm very excited to see this trailer in this movie when it comes out. Most likely it's going to be 2027. I don't see this coming out 2026 because we're already, midway through August right now. Okay, so if you watched the movie Frozen, no, not that cartoon Frozen, the one where those 3 snowboarders are stuck on a ski lift and they're left to die and they got to figure out how to survive. That director, Adam Green, he also directed Victor Crawley and Hatchet 1 and 2. He'd be making this movie. And essentially, it's the same concept, but these guys are in a wedding in Europe and they're stranded 3,000 feet above shark-infested waters. But no, it's not another ski lift. They're in a hot air balloon. So imagine being in a hot air balloon, stuck above water, and there's no way down. But there's no way out of it unless you jump in the water full of sharks. Okay, I'm intrigued. It's different. We haven't really seen this one before, but I really love Frozen. I love it's a simple movie about what would you do in this type of situation. And Bill Moseley's in this movie. He might be like the beginning of the movie, like the father saying goodbye to the daughter type deal, but hey, Bill Moseley, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, House of Thousand Corpse. I'm excited. So this one is called Breathe Deep. And it's not much about this one, but it's a little bit interesting because this movie can go a million ways. The plot of it is this daughter goes back to the Devil's Triangle, where a lot of shit happens there, and she goes 13 years after witnessing her father get killed in a shark attack. Okay, that's pretty fucked up, but let's keep going. So she goes back to the spot where she knows sharks are at, and she tries to recreate the dive that her father was doing wearing like a replica scuba diving suit. Okay, still don't know why you want to do that. There's sharks there, shark people, and people die there from shark attacks. So let's do that all over again. Don't understand why she's doing that, but hey, as a shark movie fan, I'll be watching. And this one's in early development, pre-production, so this is more of like, put this on your radar. This would definitely be a 2027 shark movie. Next is the sequel to The Black Demon, and this is called The Black Demon Atlantis. So the first one came out in 2023, mixed reception, Josh Lucas, and it's about this megalodon in Baja, California, the El Diablo mystery of this giant shark. If you watch Shark Week this year, they talk about that a lot. Go on HBO Max. There's plenty of those stuff. There's plenty of movies and like TV series about this creature, the El Diablo, the Black Demon. Anyway, you're thinking Atlantis. Why is this called Atlantis? Because this has something to do with a prison. So you got prison that's like essentially the Alcatraz, but out in the middle of the ocean, and it starts collapsing. And of course, it's got to do with the megalodon. So there is one returning character from the original movie, Julio Cesar Sedelio. He's the guy in the original movie that knew the legend of the megalodon. So he is back for this. So that's nice having at least one character back from the first movie. But essentially this plot is you got megalodon, you got prison out in the middle of the ocean, and you got prisoners trying to survive and escape while dealing with the megalodon shark. Okay, I'm down for that. It's kind of like Deep Blue Sea, but with prisoners. Okay, so this next one I want to talk about is the one with Keanu Reeves. Comes out 2027 called Shiver. Actually comes out August 13th, 2027, right in the middle or just right after Shark Week. And it's directed by Tim Miller, baby. Like Tim Miller is one of those great action directors. He was a co-director of John Wick the first Deadpool, and the Terminator Dark Fate, which, yeah, people didn't really like it, but hey, the action in that was pretty solid. So essentially what I know about this movie is Keanu Reeves, he's a smuggler, and it has like a time loop. So it's like Groundhog Days meet sharks. So imagine like wake up every day and like he must get killed by sharks every day, something like that. But right now, as we speak, it's in production and has Keanu Reeves and as a great director. So this one could be one of those movies that I was like, okay, has a very interesting plot, good casting, great crew. Hopefully it doesn't blow. Hopefully it doesn't flop. But so far, this is like one of my 2027 movies I'm very excited to watch. The next one is called Close to Shore. This would be in early 2027 or a mid 2027. And it's kind of like Into the Blue. So the Into the Blue, you know, with Paul Walker, Jessica Alba, they are essentially looking for treasure, but they come across cocaine. So it's kind of like this. You got a couple that stumbles across a narco sub and they take some of the artifacts to a local pawn shop. And the pawn shop owner is like, hey, I know what this stuff is, very valuable. I'm going to tell the local kingpin about this. But hey, I really liked Into the Blue. It didn't have much sharks at all in that movie. So if this has a lot more sharks in it, I'm down. Next one's called High Tide. And if you look this up on IMDb, there's a lot of movies called High Tide. So make sure you click on the right one because you might click on one that has nothing to do with sharks. But essentially it's about a group of friends that are stranded on an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean where, like, I don't even know there's high tide or low tides in the ocean. But essentially there's an island that gets submerged, not submerged, submerged, not submerged. So it's like these people are stuck on this island and they know the water's coming up. And when it comes up, it's gonna be full of sharks. So you gotta figure out how to survive. Pretty basic plot. But right now, as I speak, it's in pre-production. So they'll be filming that most likely later on this year. So that'll be another 2027. So this one I don't think is a shark movie just because it's called 11,000 meters down. 11,000 meters, that's 33,000 feet. And why does that sound familiar? Well, the Mariana Trench, the deepest point of Earth, is 36,000 feet. So this is essentially just 3,000 feet higher than the Mariana Trench. Sharks don't live that deep. Absolutely not. So I think this has something to do with like maybe another giant squid, some kind of kraken, or some mysterious monster. But I don't think this is a shark movie, but it's kind of like that one movie that came out in 2020 called Underwater, about them being that low. But that was a good movie till the ending. You're like, man, these are like humans, creature type shit. So hopefully it's nothing stupid like that, but this is kind of related to sharks. So for me, it's on my radar. So the next one that'll be coming out July 17th, 2027 is a documentary about Jaws 4. This is called The Shark That Roared. Yes. Jaws 4, man. The Revenge. About a shark that goes from the East Coast all the way to warm waters, Bahamas to chase the family members, the Brody family. Like, how fucking stupid can this plot be? But that one scene when that one girl gets killed during that banana boat ride, woo, that was like, okay, you got my attention there, buddy. But yeah, of course, the movie at the end overall is like, what are we doing here, guys? And of course, we haven't had a Jaws movie since. But I tend to watch this movie, you know, every once in a while, just because it does bring back a lot of nostalgia. I watched this as a kid a lot. But, you know, a documentary about this coming out, I'm game for that. I'm always game for any documentary about any Jaws movie. Because we always get documentaries about the first one, but we don't get much about the second or the third, let alone the fourth. So, bring it on. All right, Section Monkeys, that's everything I know about shark movies coming out later this year and 2027. And hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. But until then, hope you have a good day.